Shalom, Reli.
Shalom. Hello, Meital. Wonderful to be here again.
Yeah, I know.
I
Really
love
good
this
to see you.
project. I love this project. Thank you
Me
for
too. Me too. I'm telling you,
making this.
forget the recording and everything. I just love that we get to talk about this stuff because not everybody can, I don't know, not everybody talks about this stuff in the same level, I guess, or with the same. I just feel like you understand me.
Thank you. It's very mutual. And I understand completely what you're saying. We had three friends that we kind of lost contact with because of these conversations
Oh,
on
yeah,
different
totally.
various contingent topics. It's like, well, so many things are so obvious to us, and I think to others too, but they don't have the words to pronounce their thoughts
Hmm.
coherently, or they're too embarrassed, or they think it's taboo, or they think they'll be looked down upon. And you were just saying about how you probably were looked down upon when you decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
was
So,
that
yeah, no, so that was 18 years ago now. And that was my first wake-up call. Isn't it interesting? I wish that some of these wake-up calls came. And
earlier?
that goes back to your point of why people don't recognize it. I myself sometimes don't recognize stuff. So when you look at yourself too, but that was my first wake-up call. The when I always said I'm going to work. I still remember a conversation when I was probably 16 with my mom and my aunt, who both stayed home with the kids, back then. And I remember saying to them, I am not going to be like you, just so you know. I am going to have a career and I am not, I'm Sephardic from that side. So I'm not going to be, like you. And I kept saying that even when I got
I'll,
married,
I'll just I'll just translate to those who do not understand these nuances. She means backward apes, but she's gentle.
I gotta tell you, that is so not, that was another thing. I am so grateful for being half-half, right? So I'm half Ashkenazi, half Sephardic, and through all these conflicts that we've been going through these past few years, I feel like I get so much from both sides. And really, kind of, well, I guess that's just about it. I know how to walk, or at least my eyes are open enough. I don't know how to walk, but my eyes are open enough to at least try to walk the path that's in between. And yeah, so I said to my mom and my aunt, it's never, I'm never going to be like you. And then it was one of those things where, and throughout the pregnancy, everybody asked, what are you going to do? Oh, no, I'm going back to work. And da, 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 da. So, like, no awareness whatsoever. And then I give birth to my oldest, and like literally he came out, I'm holding him, and I'm like, I'm not going back. And it was just like that. It was one of those things that I know it doesn't happen for everyone the same way, but for me,
I
that's how it
know.
happened. And
I
that was
know.
it.
It does not happen to everyone. This is exactly what happened to me. I
Really?
had a business. We had two businesses. We still do, mine and my husband's, and we kind of co-run both of them. Um, and I didn't even think about, we homeschool, but I didn't even know about this option here in Israel.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
yeah.
it's not common at all, let alone organized at all. But I had no idea this option even existed. And I was certain that I was going to go the same path that we all know of.
Right.
Any other option is hidden from us, is concealed from us.
Totally, totally.
And I think it's deliberate. I think
I
it's
did too.
deliberate.
Yeah, no, I did too.
But the moment I had zero experience with kids, zero experience with babies, had no idea what I was doing. But the moment I held this baby, and again, it does not happen to anyone, to everyone.
No,
It was not something I chose to feel, and therefore I cannot take credit to
right.
myself for
That's so
this.
smart. Yes, that's true.
And that also means that I think nothing wrong of anyone who feels different. I
Yes.
understand this was brought upon me from the exterior. It's not me.
Right.
Okay. But the moment I personally held my firstborn, my brain shifted in
Oh my God.
so many ways.
I have shivers. That's how it was.
I just things clicked into place, and I was like, I'm never, never letting go of this creature, never letting go of this baby, never. I didn't put him in the baby room, whatever you call
Yeah, no,
it,
we
with the
didn't either.
nurses.
Yeah.
Never. They call it biyut maleh, like full homing. I don't know how it's pronounced in
Yeah.
English in America. You don't leave the baby. And wait a minute, my son is trying to write a message. Just hold on.
So cute.
אם אני יכול לקבל ממך 20 ש"ח, על מה שעשיתי בחצר, כן. You can take 20 shekels from my bag. I trust you. Bye bye. Thank you for asking. Hug, hug, hug. Bye bye. We are recording. This is recorded right now.
חמוד, ביי.
Bye bye. Bye. בסדר. And he's number 3, and I felt the same way.
Oh yeah,
And
no, it's
I couldn't let go, and I don't recognize myself. Like, if someone would have told me, the 20 years old me,
yeah.
this is what your life this is what your life is going to this is what your life is going to look like, I would have never believed it. I
Yeah,
would
no,
have thought
totally.
you
So
confused
true.
me with someone else. It's someone else's ID number that happens to be the same as mine. This entire lifestyle is unrecognizable to my past self.
Yep.
And again, there's no, I want to make sure I'm not judging anyone who makes other decisions. And this is the key.
Yes.
I really do believe in freedom, in liberty. And the thing that you wanted to talk about is how it seems like feminists don't agree with every decision a woman makes.
Oh no,
They
they're
want
not.
to navigate you towards a certain path that they deem right and beneficial. And well, I did not walk that path. Neither did you. Neither did many other women. We talked about Ballerina Farm and how she made completely different choices also, and how she gets so much hate online. We got that hate in person because we're not digital figures, but Ken.
Yeah, and it's
Okay,
it's
so what are the reactions that you got that you think were derogatory?
well, first when I was quitting my job, so like you said, it wasn't anything I chose. Basically, what happened, and I didn't know like where it came from, and it came by surprise. We were not ready financially. We were not. It came by surprise to my husband too. Like what? And but I went back. I went back for a month after my maternity leave, about a month, or even less. And every day, and my mom watched my baby, and my husband did a little bit because he was self-employed. And I would come back at lunch and after work and crying hysterically every time.
Wow.
And it was just like at some point my husband was like, okay, because I was like, I want to quit.
This is too much of a toll. This is too much of a toll on your spirit.
Exactly. It was not something I could handle. And and then I quit, and I've had second thoughts. Not recently, but I've had second thoughts probably the first 5 years a lot. My husband, once he decides, that's it. So it was interesting because at first he just did it for me. And then within 6 months, it was like, that's it. You're not going back. Are you kidding? This is so much better.
He was all in himself.
It was right.
He was all in himself.
He's very all in.
Not just for you.
Yeah, he's very all in, and he saw the benefit. And once he saw it, so he didn't feel it. It wasn't in his spirit. But once he saw it, that was it. And or at least he wasn't encouraging for me to go back. I think if I insisted, but definitely was not encouraging of that anymore. And that was it. That was, and like you said, totally different life. So you were asking, the hardest thing for me came from my cousins, who I'm very, very close to. And we all had babies around the same time, and they all went back to work. And they didn't really make derogatory nothing like that, but it was just, I felt very alone, I guess. And it was probably my first, or one of the first wake-up calls to this, because I studied at UCLA and I was a very good student, and it was one of my first wake-up calls to something in that world. I don't agree with the whole thing. And I felt lied to. I really felt lied to, because here I was, I supposedly did everything right. And, I'll tell you this was interesting. So, I started to meet a whole new circle of people, right? You go to Mommy and Me and you meet other moms who are staying at home and all of that. But for them, they were not high achievers like me. So they were like therapists or physical therapists, or so they just worked a few hours a week, or a few hours. You still there? It seems frozen.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
So they just worked a few hours a week, and I felt like they were so much more set up for this new life of a mother, where I was a programmer, so I had to start at early in the morning and finish late at night. That was not an option for me, but I kind of would have wanted to work very, very part-time, just so I have kind of that how do you say,
Liberty,
outlet, a little bit of an outlet to go out.
flexibility.
Yeah, and I didn't have that, and I thought, why didn't anybody tell me? And the truth is that my mother did, and I didn't listen, which I guess is encouraging, all the stuff that we say to the kids, and they seem like they're not listening, and it's still getting in there, because when I held the baby, all of a sudden everything came in, and I do thank her for that. So that's why I just keep saying whatever I want to say, and they say that I'm crazy and blah, 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 and I'm like, whatever. One day you'll get it, right? One day you get what I'm saying. So yeah, but that was one of those cracks, and I felt like they kept on coming. Like I always say, one crack, that's all it takes, and then you start asking. But I'm going to repeat, I don't know if I said it before, but I was not prepared. And because I was not prepared, I always give the example of sorry, I'm all over the place, but I was just thinking of something. Jordan Peterson talks about this. He talks about how if, chas v'chalila, your husband cheats on you, right? It changes everything. It's almost like a death. And it's not just that your relationship with him changes. It's something inside of you dies, because you have to ask why you trusted. And what did you do wrong to get, not that it's your fault that he cheated, but how did you trust him? How did you get to this point? Your entire, it's a word that's very popular in Israel right now, the conceptia, right? The concept. So your entire
conception.
The conception. So
we say conceptia, they say conception.
Conception. Although it's not very commonly used here. But yeah, the conception was wrong. And so I feel like in Israel, a lot of well, I hope that this is going on, but a lot of the leftists right now are learning that their conception was wrong, right? I mean, they have to. No, I don't know. But
listen, people, when you say all you need is a crack, that's right, when everything you lived by was based on a lie.
Okay.
So when your ideology was based on a lie, unbeknownst to you,
right,
a lie that was fed to you, as you said, you felt lied to, you felt betrayed, which is exactly like your husband betraying you. It's the same feeling.
It's the
Something
same thing.
dies.
Exactly.
Something dies.
But I have to add something to that, and this is a compliment to myself, but I do believe that you have to have this. You have to be honest with yourself and to live with the truth, because if you're honest with yourself, you are able to make a an analysis that's good. You're able to analyze with all the pain and all of that, you're able to analyze and move forward. But if you're not truthful with yourself, then I don't think that can happen. And I think that's why we always ask, well, can't they, what else needs to happen to them for them to wake up? Right. And I think if you already are not aligned with the truth as much as you can, again, I love the Jordan Peterson thing where he says, don't lie. No, how does he say it? Don't tell the
Don't
truth.
say untrue, tell the
Tell the
truth.
truth, or at least don't lie. I think that's
Yeah.
really accurate because it's very hard to tell the truth because sometimes we don't know what it is, but at least don't lie. And so that is
And telling women that they'd be better off chasing after a career.
yes,
Jordan Peterson also dislikes the term career. He says
right.
most people, 95% of people, will never have a career.
Yes,
People, not only women. Yes, women, men, whatever,
right,
non-binary
right.
creatures, whatever. You will not have a career. The crushing most majority of you will have a job.
Yes,
And now the question is, the thing is, you have to catch them while they're young
yes,
with this ideology.
yeah,
Because as we said, once you have a child and a family, a husband and a child, which is a family is also just a husband and a wife, of course, but if there are troubles and so on, but a husband and a wife are a family, but with a child, it's a whole other ball game. So once you do have a family, and it seems like the feminist ideology does everything in its power to prevent you from reaching that point, but they try to catch you while your brain is different. And this is the time when you decide to go to college and what
yep,
to study
yeah,
and to start chasing that promised career path, so-called. And by the time you have the baby, it's kind of too late.
yes,
And
yeah,
only those with a very strong biological inclination, such as yourself and myself,
mhm,
will choose this strange path,
yep,
which will remain the outlying path and the minority path, because they try to drag you on so far into your life before you have a child and a husband. And by
yes,
that time, you have invested so much of
right,
your efforts and money and time and dreams and aspirations into one path, one dream that they set for you, that it's too late for most other women. And they do buy into this vicious cycle of, I have to have a job, I have to get ahead in my job, I have to put my kids in some institution. They don't call it institution, they call it daycare, they call it
right,
whatever, which is, I think, completely understandable. And I do not judge these decisions whatsoever. The only thing I judge are the feminist thought leaders, that the numbers are too skewed. There are too few women who decide to stay home and raise their children. It is
right.
unnaturally skewed. And I
Mhm,
blame
yeah,
that
yeah,
ideology. It's fine. I
right,
know many women, some of which are my friends,
right,
that have careers and children, real careers, and they put the children in daycare and school, and everything is fine. I know their hearts, I know their minds as much as any person can know another person's mind and heart, which is limited, but I do to some degree, to some extent. And they are not the type of person to stay at home and raise the kids. They're just not built for that.
yes,
May it be biologically, mentally, socially, whatever.
right,
They're not that typecast.
right,
However, the vast majority of my friends and my acquaintances would have loved to be where I am, to make my decisions. Well, maybe not exactly the same, but
Right.
I've heard this so many times, women coming up to me and saying, I envy you.
Yes, yes,
For
yes,
me, it's too late. A
yes.
few of them are doctors,
Yeah. One of my best friends.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have invested so much, such brilliant women, and they adore their children,
yes.
and they're torn
The
between the
torn,
two.
the guilt, yeah,
It's one, on one hand, it's a guilt, but also they really enjoy their job, their
yes,
career, their job,
yes,
their occupation, whatever. They genuinely love what they do. They help others, may it be doctors, teachers, um, uh, school administrators, whatever. They have they have their job that they like and they enjoy, and they actually contribute to society, which is beautiful. But they themselves are torn. They themselves tell themselves now, after having children and having a house and a husband, I look at you, they look at me, and they think, I wish I knew there was this option. I wish this option was as available to me in my thoughts and in the
yes.
thoughts of people surrounding me as it was to, well, it wasn't to me. I just had no other option.
No,
I
that's
just,
exactly how I see it. I feel like I had no other option. I know exactly what you mean. And I mean, it's not the same thing, but we really saw it when we decided to leave California. Um, I think for people
oh,
like us,
remind me,
yeah,
there's this song that my son likes now. He's 16.
yeah,
Uh, I wish we all could leave California now.
yes.
On the Babylon
The
Bee.
Beach
Did you
Boys,
know that?
right? No, so
What?
it's new. So they renewed it this way?
I wish we all could leave
Leave
California
California
now.
now. Huh, okay. No, I haven't heard it.
It's on the Babylon Bee. Very recommended.
Okay, I'll
It's
take a
new.
look.
It's nice.
That's
I
funny.
thought of you. Okay, so you left California and you thought about the
We
fact
left
that
California,
you had no other option, you say.
just for the record, because I don't think we talked about this before, or at least not recorded. Um, we left because of a spiritual reason, like period. Like it was not nothing that had to do with money or a job, or we literally felt that there is no, and again, we're not religious, but but I still call it spiritual because the culture, maybe it's more the culture, but I feel like it's all related, and there's no way. And you see what's going on in California now. All of the anti-Semitic stuff that's going on in the colleges, none of that. I knew it was going on because I'm very involved in this stuff.
And you
But
went to UCLA.
I went to UCLA, but it wasn't happening 20 years ago.
Okay.
But it's a long story, but I'm connected to some organization where I actually knew what was going on. Nobody knows. As far as the anti-Semitic stuff, which has been going on for the past 10, 15 years, but most people didn't know. Most people, October 8th, woke up and were like, where did this come from? And I was like, well, I told you. And everybody, when I said there's anti-Semitic stuff going on at the colleges, the average person would tell me that I'm crazy. And, some of these people have come back to me and said, you're right. So at least they're honest with themselves. So that was good. But that's just the anti-Semitism. We did not leave because of the anti-Semitism. That's something else. We left California because it's just not liberal anymore. Like it's feeling very and liberal in the old way that you define it. It's not.
Classic liberalism.
Yeah, it's not free. It's not. It felt tyrannical. It felt. It's a one-party state. It's the education is completely run by something that I see as evil, and you could say, well, send them to a private school, send them, take them homeschooled. But I really felt I can't be
Everywhere.
Yeah, it's over there. You're so surrounded by it that I don't want I don't want that to be our population, and it's the Jewish population too, by the way. But regardless, what I was saying is that it was the same thing where we were like, how come people are not leaving? We need to leave. Like it was so obvious to us. And to this day, I mean, obviously most of our people are there and they're not leaving because it's really hard. Like you said, when you're not prepared for it. And it's been very, very hard on us. And it was one of those things where this time it was alone. It was my husband who felt like I can't live like that. And it's not in accordance with my conscience. It's not, I just can't. And so we left, but you pay a price, and we're still, it's an adjustment. And it's hard, but it's the same thing. But you understand how the Holocaust happened and how people didn't leave then, right? It's hard to make a change.
We had a very special guest here 3 days ago. He sat right there, from Sweden.
Yeah.
Came all the way from Sweden
Wow.
and came to have a conversation with my husband on his podcast. And after the conversation, we had dinner and we talked. And I said to him, you should leave yesterday.
Yes.
I didn't say you should have left yesterday, but you should leave yesterday.
Yeah.
October 8th, Stockholm had a river of anti-Israel marches. And I kind of understand the Europeans. I think that subconsciously they are so scared.
Yes.
They understand that the masses marching down the streets are bloodthirsty and not Westerns and not Westerners, and they do not share your values, and they think their God likes beheadings and slaughter and rape. He likes that.
Yeah.
Did that for him. And all these masses marching down the streets chant in unison, yes, we agree. This is what my God wants me to do.
Yeah.
To infidels.
Right. It's so
Now, right
simple.
now, it's masqueraded as only Jews, but really, they target all infidels, which it means also Christians, of course.
Oh no, it's a war against the West. Actually, I just saw the person who was going to get. Do you know Ran Bar Yoshafat?
Maybe I'm terrible with names.
He's Israeli, and but
I'll
he
write
comes
his name down.
Ran Bar Yoshafat. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not sure.
Okay,
Anyway, I
Google
met him
will
here.
correct
I met
me.
him here in the United States on a thing, and he comes to the colleges. He's been doing it for, since the anti-Semitism started, basically. So that's kind of how I know about what's going on in the colleges. Anyway, he went to give a speech at Berkeley a few days ago, and they surrounded the building. They broke the glass. It was insanity. And they had to be, and of course the university asked them to leave, and not the violent people. And but he wrote an article afterwards, and he said if you think this is against right-wing Israelis, if you think this is against just Israelis, if you think this is against just Jews, you have something else coming. And it's a war against the West in all. That's what it is. It's very obvious to me.
I heard you sent me something from by Candace Owens.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Lately, she's been showing her weird side,
It's
I guess.
really weird. I used to
I
really
love
like
her. I
Yeah.
love listening to her. I've listened to her podcast for years. She's an
Yeah.
excellent person by all accounts. And now I think since that she calls him Ye, what's his name?
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Okay.
Yeah.
So ever since that thing, whatever happened there, I'm not very versed in the details of that, but I remember she called him Ye.
Yes.
And ever since then, it was like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
Something was odd. But now she put out this disclaimer, something to the effect that the US should have nothing. There were kidnapped ads on the Super Bowl, something like that. During the Super Bowl, they broadcasted ads about the kidnapped in Gaza, kidnapped
Oh,
Israeli
no, I didn't
Gaza.
know. Okay.
Okay, so Candace said something about that. She said this huge disclaimer saying that she's completely against any U.S. involvement in this situation because it has nothing to do with America whatsoever.
Okay.
I was just laughing in my seat. I thought maybe there's something that I can do, but here I'm saying it here. Maybe it's fine. Maybe it's good enough.
No, it's
Look
something.
at the marches. Look at the marches. And she
Yeah,
was comparing it to Ukraine and Russia. Like
right.
we have nothing to do there. There is nothing we can do there. That it's none of
That's
our
so true.
business.
I didn't even think about that. How do you not look at that? And that whole
Look
thing, I
at the
don't get it.
marches. Look
Yeah,
at your own capitals,
yeah,
your own big cities, the marches that they have there. Look at the marches that are pro-Israeli and the marches that are
yeah.
pro-Hamas.
Right,
You can call it pro-Palestinian, but we all know it's
right,
pro-Hamas.
right.
Anyway, so
Yeah,
look at the people. Look at the people marching on the
yeah,
streets.
yeah.
Can't you tell the difference? They are US citizens. It's your listen, you can shrug and say it's none of my business. But that would be blindness because they are your citizens. This is the kind of behavior they support. And look at them.
Mhm. No,
Even
yeah,
if you do not understand, even if you do not understand the things that they support, the things that they stand up for. Okay, you don't understand that, that's none of your business. Whatever happened here, whatever that was. Okay, let's just play pretend.
right.
Okay? Look at the population, look at the people on your streets, the way they behave, the way they conduct in your own America.
Right. No, it's
Doesn't that strike you as odd? Just that alone.
and
Let's not get
it's
into
very scary to me because I feel like my cousin told me years ago, he said it's going to come from the left and from the right. And I hope that that's not true. I mean, with the left, it's institutionalized. So that this, it's in the system. It's in the places that have power, in the places of authority. That's where we see the bad behavior. On the right, we don't see that yet. And I hope we won't,
But
but
then again, you have Candace Owens.
right,
Maybe she's
exactly,
the first
exactly.
right-wing person to say,
And
I
I don't
don't
know what's
care.
going on with her. I
Doesn't
know
bother me.
Kanye, I see as someone who is very, very smart.
I do not know the person at all, so I have
He
nothing to
has
say.
some psychological problems. It's I mean, that's all I can say. He just does, and he apologized afterwards for his remarks, and I'm pretty sure he said I was out of my head. But I know that for her, and this is something to pay attention to, going back to the crack that I was talking about before, I know that she how do you she gives him credit for waking her up. So for her kind of awakening, because she grew
They
up.
call it red pill, red pill.
Right. So she gives him credit for that. And I think that once it's the only way I can explain it. I'm not trying to excuse it, but I think that once he started talking to, I don't know, but she's a very smart woman. It's very, very hard
Yes,
for
she
me.
is. I really love her.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, we are sadly out of time,
Yeah.
but this was fantastic.
It was.
I
It always is.
enjoyed it so much. If you had a way of knowing how little possibility I have to have these talks, how difficult this is technically for me to arrange my schedule, you would be very flattered, I think.
Oh,
This
yeah.
means a lot to me.
It means
And
a lot to me too. And there is something there. I was just thinking about it, just the passion that we have for it. And sometimes you just need the passion. And for me, it gives me our conversations give me nourishment because it's talk
me
about stuff
too.
that's on our
Me
minds.
too. I was just talking about this the other day about with my friend. I said, listen, I have this opportunity of clarity, of accuracy. And when I speak in English, I have to overthink things, not overthink, but I have to think things through. Like I have another sifter. So
Yeah.
it's online.
Yeah,
I'm obligated because I'm talking to a public which is unknown to me. And I don't know
right,
its
right.
size. I don't know who makes it up, who it is made up of. And I have to think about what I'm saying. And that English thing is yet another process, and I love it.
That's
And you are
amazing.
wonderful, and
Oh,
you
so
have
are you.
your
Yeah,
heart and your mind are so aligned with what I think is true. Thank you.
thank
And my
you.
time is up, but thank you so much. And we'll see each other again next week.
We'll do
Bezrat
it.
Hashem.
Yay, Bezrat
And
Hashem.
you've already made the travel from California to Miami.
Yes.
Okay, that's half the way to Israel.
If
Yay!
you only knew how much I fantasize about it. Yeah, no, it's
Okay. Next time
yesterday
you're in Israel, you have to be here a few
I
days.
are you kidding? For sure.
A
I
few days.
I didn't even wait to
Not
be
just
invited.
stop by.
No, no, I want to. I want to. And
Okay,
I want for my
wonderful.
kids to meet your kids and
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful. Bye bye. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.